necessary. The man is so used to thoughts and feelings, he thinks that's normal. In fact, thoughts disappear, and as emotions are constantly released, they begin to disappear as well. And then you're in a state of peace and imperturbable calm at all times, in which everything is just known.
When one experiences this and then one moves back into one's everyday life, how does one integrate this non-thinking beingness with the practical problems one comes in touch with in one's job or family life?
It continues as you walk about in the world. The beauty of the method is that it's working all the time as you go about in the world. In fact, it's recommended that you stay in the world, because in the world is what's bringing up your programs. And to isolate yourself on a mountaintop, you can get above your garbage, and of course you're feeling great and you think you're in a fantastic space until you go back into the world and all the garbage comes up again. So it's recommended with those who've learned the method to stay in the world, because the world is bringing up your garbage for you to release.
I think in line with the question that you asked about other methods of doing things, that this is, everyone has had different kinds of experiences, perhaps starting with a beautiful experience of nature when we were little, or listening to music or something like that. And the question that goes for practically every kind of discipline or path that we follow, and we spend a lot of time trying to recapture that moment, to recapture the feeling, and we're dealing with something that happens in an isolated moment in time. What we're really concerned about with our life is every day, every moment of every day. And if you try and spend that moment remembering what it felt like when you heard a Haydn Mass or played music with someone else and enjoyed it, it's frustrating because it happened in the past. What the method allows people to do, and I think that that's why it's different from everything else, is to take the feeling that you have at the moment, to release that feeling or feelings until you get to a point of feeling comfortable, calm, and peaceful, so that whatever is happening in the world, you inside are in that imperturbable state. You can, as David says, you can get away from things. If you look at the problems of the world and the way we attempt to deal with them, you can see that a situation, for example, like a job or a relationship, might be the source of stress, might appear to be, or discomfort. And yet when you look at it a little harder in perspective, you see that at times it's quite pleasant. At other times it's stressful, so it's not in the situation itself. It's clear it's our response to it. Now, our response is going on 24 hours a day. And in order to be effective, any method, it seems to me, needs to be able to be available and work at any moment of the day. So if you look at how do we deal with these problem situations, well, we may try and get away from them. That's the most common way of handling a feeling. Something awkward comes up, we want to move away. We leave the room, or we leave the job, or we leave the person. But frequently, as often as not, the same problem comes up with the next job, or the next person, or the next situation. Another, and perhaps actually more frequent, really, way to deal with a feeling is to suppress it. We'll become aware of a feeling of dislike for someone that we have to spend time with, and we'll push the feeling out of the way, because in order to work smoothly with another person, we can't have that feeling of irritation or anger or annoyance. The difficulty is that the feeling is still there, and the harder we push down, the tighter and more compressed the feeling is, the more it wants to get back up. So the upshot of it is that as people get older and accumulate more and more feelings, they feel tired, more tired, have less energy, feel more tense, feel more under the gun, feel they have to move faster, and become more rushed. And the end result is that those suppressed feelings, which have accumulated, run us instead of our being able to be in control of them. So we say that the simplest way to deal with it, every moment of every day, is to take the feeling. What is the feeling? Is it a feeling I could release? Do I need it now? Or would it be more constructive in this situation to have another feeling? So it gives the person control at each moment. And I think that's one of the major differences between this and practically anything else. You don't have to go away to do it. It isn't something you have to come back to a person who can help you with it. Once you learn it in the Course, it's yours. And we encourage people as we teach it to learn it their own way, see the ways they can integrate it into their life. And that, of course, depends on what they do.
Though there's no philosophy as such associated with the method, what happens to people? I mean, I'm sure that the kind of experience you're describing obviously changes people's perception of the world around them, and that has to involve their approach to dealing with the world. So what about that? What happens to those people who experience the method from the standpoint of their own personal philosophy?
Well, the method is experiential. It's not intellectual. And what it gets rid of is anger, grief, fear, lust, anger, pride. Takes you up to courage, then to acceptance.
The deadly sins.
Takes you up to love, and finally to peace.
I see.
And
so Christ was teaching the Sedona method.
He didn't tell you the technique. He told you to forgive your brother, but he didn't tell you exactly how to do that, how to let it go.
And that's the key, isn't it?
You see, what all the methods are not telling you is how to let it go. And what he says is so, but he doesn't tell you how to do it. So you can struggle a lifetime, let's say, to achieve one forgiveness, which, when you know an effective method, can be released in a matter of seconds or minutes. And so we feel that, or I've observed that the method allows anybody to achieve whatever their spiritual goals may be. If you're a Mormon, you're going to become a better Mormon. If you're a Catholic, you're going to be a better Catholic. Whatever religious or spiritual or consciousness goal you have, you see, if we could be at the end instantly if it weren't for the attachments and the programs that are standing in the way. So if we knew a method to release them, we would, achieve our goal instantly. So the beauty of the method is it allows you to get wherever you want to go. It removes all the barriers.
Is the answer in the method, or is the answer in the person experiencing it?
You have to first want to let go of all your garbage. Otherwise the method wouldn't appeal to you. I mean, if you're still enjoying, anger, fear, grief, and all those things, then it wouldn't appeal to you. But if you've reached that point in life when you want life to become better, this is a technique that will take you out of all that misery, and it does it rapidly. And you don't have to read anything about metaphysics or any such things. The truth of all the world's teachings become your own experience. And in fact, it's advised not to read. I haven't read anything in a long time now. In other words, there's no point in contaminating yourself with further programs. Every spiritual book you read has to be released later. Every sentence that you've studied, memorized, and has to be let go of. Every single thing spoken in words is a program.
How do you avoid?
Every one is a limitation.
How do you avoid that becoming a program?
The technique itself?
How do you avoid what you're just saying from becoming a program, that I've got to release all these things?
Experientially, you find it so. Experientially, you find that every teaching is a limitation. It has to be, because what speaks words but one's ego? Consequently, they're all programs. However, there's good programs and bad programs, you might say. And as you get higher and higher within the illusion, finally you start letting, it's like you get up the ladder, then you pull the ladder up after you. So right now I'm in the process of pulling the ladder up after me, letting go all the stuff that I learned over the years.
You asked the question of what people do with it, and obviously people do with it what they want to. That's the purpose of this course. We say for you to take the method and use it for what you want. We don't have any direction for people to go in. As David mentioned, we see that most of our feelings can be put into the categories, starting with the lowest one in terms of energy level, of apathy. And that's the feeling we don't feel we can do anything. Why bother anyway? Can't fight City Hall. Next up the line is a feeling of grief, of sadness, of disappointment. And there's a little more energy in that. when we come to fear,